all right. You're listening to the Deadman's Tome podcast, a show broadcast live from a trailer park deep in the heart of Meth County, Texas. I'm your host, Mr. Deadman, and I got a few announcements. Really. If you look, I don't know if people know this, but Deadman's Tome publishes books. We publish books, really collections of short stories, and we have 2 submission calls right now. One for I just wanted to grill around the meme of the Ken and Karen couple, the St. Louis couple. Hey guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? Kybus is on the show right now, and also have Mr. Rice. Mr. Rice, he's going to help us talk about racism in America. So guys, you know who I'm talking about? Mikulski, right?
Yeah, Mikulskis.
Yeah. Okay. This is a very quick and dirty submission call. I don't know how far it's really going to go. I'm just looking for flash fiction. That's like 1,000 words, maybe a little bit more. Around, it doesn't have to be horror themed. It could be kind of like more satirical and parody. That's pretty much what it's going to be around this meme. Okay, have some fun with that, and then have another submission call called "America Fuck Yeah." Because let me tell you something. Right now, everyone's shitting on America. A lot of Americans right now are shitting on America, and I'm like looking at this. I'm like, we need some positive patriotism right now. We need some positive patriotism. I'm throwing aside horror and dark, gritty fiction, which is normally what Deadman's Tome puts out. I'm throwing that aside so I can put something out there that's a little bit explosive, a little bit high-octane explosives, okay, and very bold and patriotic and positive, okay? America, fuck yeah. These open calls have been good for pretty much all summer long, and paying dollars. Paying like $10, $20 for submissions for American Fuck Yeah. So if it's accepted, it's $20. Artwork, $25. So I guess not so bad. I mean, it's up to you. And the links for that is going to be in the description box below. Or you can just go to deadmanstome.net. There you go. Boom. Done. All right. I guess no more announcements. All right. Mr. Rice. How are you doing, man?
I'm good.
Okay. And Kybus, you there?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Chilling.
Are you guys ready to get into it? Are you ready to step into it?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Because we're talking about racism in America. We did this before. This is the part 2 of this. So let's start with this with well, before we go, Mr. Rice, who are you and what do you do? Like how do you describe yourself?
I'm a laid back person, very easy to get along, just chill. I live life, I guess, one day at a time, because, I may die tomorrow, I may not. So I live my life one day at a time.
Yep, that's true.
That's good.
I like that. I like the perspective. It's very healthy. Very, very reasonable.
Thank you.
So, let me ask you, how racist is America? Is it like slavery days, or is it the paradise, the no ounce of slavery anywhere? Is it that? Like, where are we?
If I do a scale of 1 to 10, I'll put us about a 6 at most.
A 6? That's pretty good. I mean, I think.
Are you saying? Hold on. Are you saying 10 being the worst?
Yeah, 10's the worst.
Oh, 10's the worst.
Yeah, I say about 6. I guess slavery can come in any form. Like being overworked. Being paid barely a little bit of money. That's still considered a form of like sort of slavery. But it's just, I guess that's my opinion and my view.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. So 10 is the worst. So we're at a 6. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what makes it like a 6? And you kind of mentioned like it sounded like wage slavery, like just people getting paid, like I guess next to nothing.
Yes.
Okay.
Like that, and and still, no matter. I mean, I'm not talking about like in their context, but just like I was talking to my friend earlier, we're talking about different prejudices and stuff. Like how I view it is like everyone is precious, just to a certain extent. Like
you said everyone's precious.
No, everyone's prejudiced.
Oh, everyone's prejudice. I'm sorry, everyone's prejudice, but to a certain extent, yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true.
That was actually something me and my brother talked about the other night, and I think everybody has prejudices to some degree, but I don't think that means that they're all racial prejudices, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's just my thoughts on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you might have some prejudice based on like gender or other things, right?
Right.
Some expectations, some
yeah. 'Cause
maybe problematic opinions based on stereotypes or something. I don't know. That happens. Okay. So it's out of 6. This kind of reminds me of what I do for my day job. What things can America do? What things can we do to go from a 6 to a 5? Make things better here in America, as far as racism goes.
Hello?
Hello?
Thing.
I know that's a tough question. That silence was thinking. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
before we actually answer that, let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's dig a little bit deeper real fast here. What is racism? Is racism like just a prejudice someone has based on race, or is it the privilege plus power stuff that we've been hearing about?
For me, I believe racism is a form of it's when a person looks at another group of people as beneath them. They believe they're unworthy. They're like the scum on the earth. They believe like like, hey, like my race is better than your race. You are worthless. I don't even know why you were even, like I say, made or you're saying, like, all this. You just beneath me. That's how I view racism. That's like you are nothing. Like your whole race is nothing. Y'all are a worthless piece of worms that just on this earth for no reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's how I've always viewed it.
So, I mean, in that way, because based on that definition, I mean, anyone in any particular race, any particular group could be racist at one point. I mean, I definitely experienced some definitely racist Asians before. I mean, the way I said that might sound problematic, but it's like that's just what it is. I mean, like, there's people that they have certain prejudices. They, I've definitely encountered I know some family members, and they're Hispanic, and they're kind of racist, So yeah, I mean, it happens. So I mean, let me ask you, can black people be racist?
Yes.
Okay. Can black people be racist towards other black people?
Yes, they can.
Oh God.
Okay. Now, white people could definitely be racist. We all know that. KKK, slavery, all that. I don't think I need to ask that. Now, see, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck because there's some people who say that black people can't be racist. And where's that coming from?
I guess it's like their mindset because they believe how slavery and civil rights and justice and Jim Crow laws and all that they believe that black people can't be racist, but black people can be racist. We can be the same as as a KKK and all that. It's the same.
I literally saw someone earlier. A perfect example, something we talked about on the last rendition of this was the Uncle Tom thing. And I saw it earlier today, some black guy calling another black guy Uncle Tom just because he doesn't agree with his view. I'm like, man.
That's one word I hate.
Uncle Tom.
It's so silly.
And we talked about, I think on the last show, too, or the last time we talked about racism in America, that term, Uncle Tom, it's, I guess apparently it's that the origins of that word are not as sinister as people think, but it was warped or something? Like, what's up with that?
Well, I heard it happened at a play. Uncle Tom was technically like, if you read the books and the more like the author who wrote about Uncle Tom was a black author, and he broke down the story how Uncle Tom, at the end he risked his life to help two slaves be free.
Mm-hmm.
But in place they twisted where at the end he gave the two slaves up. So he like keep his freedom. Like he turned those two slaves back in. And so
What?
I'm like, I believe how like it's just that it's been like misconstrued and twisted to
Yeah.
make you think Uncle Tom is he's a race trader and all that stuff, but really he's not. He actually risks his own life to save the two slaves.
Man, I'm curious now. Like who did this play? Like why? That seems pretty deliberate to take a message like that and just warp it, just twist it like that. That seems intentional, right?
Yes.
It is intentional, absolutely. Those are the things that I look at, stuff like that, that is systemic and is meant to, for lack of a better term, keep the black man down. It's shit like that, or splitting up the families. Not providing help in actual communities. That's where the systemic stuff comes in, and people are. It seems like they're getting it confused. Like there's actual laws or something prohibiting these people, and it's like, no, it's the stuff that we've institutionalized over years of time that, you know and that's actually how I met William here. Was I met him in a comment thread calling somebody out for saying, everybody want to talk about whatever, but they don't want to talk about stuff in the black community that is a unfortunate effect of that systemic stuff. So
Right. Right. And that's oh man, that's something we can get into here real fast because we just already asked the question: can black people be racist? And and like I said before, for those jumping in now, of course white people can. That's redundant. We all know that. Hell, I know that shit. Uh, but there's some stuff that happened pretty recently, where I guess people who say they support Black Lives Matter, people who fight for Black Lives Matter, I don't know the extent of that, how they align themselves with the message. But apparently in Atlanta, they had a checkpoint where they're trying to get this vehicle to turn around. The vehicle wasn't turning around fast enough, so they shot it up, and they ended up shooting and killing a. How old was she? 8. She was 8, right?
Yeah, I believe it was 8.
Yeah. Like, why were they even shooting to begin with? Like, why are they doing that? I don't understand. I, all they were trying to do was turn around. I can't even process that really. I don't understand. Like, the movement's about, police brutality in that. Then why are these people doing like checkpoints and using guns as a way to enforce it like willy nilly like that? Oh God, it seems like what do you think about that, Mr. Rice?
I think some people are not don't care about like the movement and all that, and it is there is using that as a show to do what they want to do.
Hmm.
That's how I see. Like when they were protesting, some of them like one guy. I remember one guy watching one video of the clip. The guy's like, "Oh, I don't even care what's going on. I was here to just take stuff and cause ruckus." He said, "I don't care." So I'm like, so,
it's
That,
so it's
horrible.
like, yeah,
that
some people.
oh no, that's a good point you brought up. Like some people could just be using the message to kind of cover and shield what they really want to do, some nefarious stuff.
I think it's quite obvious at this point that it's you know and not to get deep in the Bible, but that's something that I believe on, and saying that somebody has to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Well, this movement, this organization has already been commandeered. This isn't something to come, or some conspiratorial theory. It's
Hmm.
actually happening right in front of us, and most people don't want to see it. That's like the protesters and the organizers now roping Palestine and the Jews into it. What does that have to do with black lives? Somebody give me one reason that's a form of white supremacy, or the white patriarchy. So this stuff is right in front of people's eyes. They need to wake up, because it's happening all around us, and all around the world too, not just here.
Is that something you noticed, Mr. Rice?
Yes.
the people in Black Lives Matter kind of roping in the Jews.
Yeah. Like they're trying. Like if the movement was for Black Lives Matter, you know, why are we trying to bring other races into our issue? You know, if it's about Black Lives Matter, focus on the Black life part of it, not Black Lives Matter, and then you know, branch from there. Because I remember telling one person, I'm like, as Black Lives Matter, we need to focus on our community. You know, some people like hearing that word. We're gonna say, let's focus on our community. Like, oh no, listen, I'm trying to say no. I'm trying to explain to them like we need to focus on our community. We need to rebuild our communities, take back our communities. No, not like like go to like there are protests that like like if we can march against like peace brutality, let's form big massive marches in front of the drug dealer's house in the gang communities and let them know that we're not going to allow you to destroy this community. We're not going to allow more young Black men to be killed because of gang violence and drugs. We're not going to allow our homes to be separated no more. It's time for us to unite as one.
Right.
And then from there we can branch out to right now. Like I said, the house divided, it won't stand. So how can we say we stand as one? We still divide. And also I felt like how I broke it down is like a scale of like how the Lady Justice, the scale shows she holds in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I saw explaining I broke it down this way. If we focus on one issue, that's focus on the other, the scale remains unbalanced. But when we focus on both issues and not take them out, the scale comes balanced, and then we're truly heard. Then people will truly understand that we meant what we're standing for. When we say Black Lives Matter, we're meaning that we are done. We're done. We're tired of this. We're tired of the drug violence. We're tired of all this in our community. We've taken back our community. We are coming as one.
Right.
We are done.
Okay.
But then that's sorry.
Oh no! I was gonna ask. How did Black Lives Matter form anyway? Like what is its origin story?
From what I heard, it was a young African in college. She formed a group to talk about for Black Lives Matter because it wasn't supposed to be for Black lives and other lives. That's the story. I heard how it was formed, and what she did was it was formed to not only talk about like Blacks being killed by police, but also about Blacks in our community, gang violence, drug violence in the community. That's what the story that I was told and heard from. That's how it was supposed to be formed. That was how Black Lives was supposed to start.
Okay, and then somehow it warped and changed into something completely different. I mean,
yes, Marxist Lives Matter.
I mean, you go to the website, blacklivesmatter.com. It literally has a part where it says, we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended family members in villages that collectively care for one another, especially for children, to the degree that parents, fathers aren't mentioned. Fathers are not mentioned here. Mothers, parents.
They're not mentioned anywhere on the website.
And children.
And I've had people try to say something to me about it, saying villages, and be like, "Oh, you don't know there's villages in Africa?" Oh, okay. Well, guess what, dummy? There's villages in about every country in the world or continent, but that's still the Marxist agenda of saying, "Oh, we're all one big village, we're all one giant community," and obviously that's not, that's when agendas get thrown in the mix, and you're not like Mr. Rice said, you're not at that point, you're not focusing on, okay, what can we do to fix our local community, the town that I live in, my next door neighbor, etc. needs to be people's focus, not Team America World Police type nonsense, but BLM. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Rice, have you noticed that? Have you noticed any sort of like Marxist stuff in the BLM?
I mean, I should say I have. It's like, people be like, well, oh, well, y'all support Black Lives Matter, but also with this movement, y'all support this. I'm like, why are you taking the move? Like you keep sidestepping moves. Like, oh yeah, but yeah, it's Black Lives Matter, but yeah, let's do this rights and this rights. I'm like, I mean, but it's a movie called Black Lives Matter.
It should be about Black lives.
Right.
Right.
Not
So
this group, or this group, or this group. It's supposed to be about Black lives.
yeah.
So I'm like, I understand other. I said, like I said, for example, I spoke about, I understand other groups. I'm saying right now we need to focus on, like, if we want to do this movement, like the Black Lives Matter movement, we need to focus on the Black lives.
Right. I mean, I'm looking at the website
Not
now.
worry about other right now until we focus on Black lives. Then we can worry about others.
Right. Right. I mean, I see here, even on the website, they shoehorn in like LGBTQ stuff, which could be its own pride thing, could be its own march thing. That seems like it kind of focus on a specific subset within the black community, but not the whole black community. It's like focusing on one. It's like it's getting narrower and smaller. I don't know. I get the importance of that sort of I guess march, a sort of movement, but it doesn't seem like it's. I mean,
Well, the thing is that Deadman is that people are having a very hard time, and I'm sure Mr. Rice would attest to this, differentiating between, okay, this the movement saying, all right, we're against police brutality, against Black lives, versus, the organization, which is, it seems like the main ones that have all these chapters and doing all this organizing and stuff, that obviously that is not their only concern. So I think that's something important to touch on, that, how can people better support, just being against police brutality versus making sure they don't get mixed up with the organization.
Yes. I mean, I'm gonna say this. All right, for me, this was like, when George Floyd was killed, everyone understood what the police did was wrong.
right.
They're like, everyone said it was wrong. And like if you're like, we're not like, no, everyone, I know people on the left, right, like who were Democrat, who were Republican, who were conservatives, who were not. They said what they did was wrong. And like, so like people are saying what they did was wrong. Everyone even said it. No matter what side, people said it was wrong what happened. That was blatant wrong what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it wasn't like people said yes. Everyone called out said yes, that was wrong. That needs to be changed. That they need to investigate that department. It needs to be changed. Let's do more investigation into the place. Like for example, like me, to come from a military background, I'm looking at like my way. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, do I believe police should have like certain military weapons? No. Certain military vehicles? No. I'm like, those vehicles are meant for combat zones. Not here in America. So I'm like, I mean, yeah, I understand what you're talking about. But I'm like, I said, we like some of them, like we say defund the police. Y'all should a lot of the time now get rid of the whole police department and like get rid of the police.
Right.
No, and like we don't defund the police. I look at it as take away the military grade vehicles.
Sure.
Like the MRAS and all that stuff. Take away those.
They don't need the Humvees.
Why they need something that I'm like, who's sitting here like we ain't gonna run an IED here in America, Like they need some type of that type of vehicle, or have giant shootouts. I mean, yeah, they may happen, but it's not often here.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I'm all for demilitarization, and that's kind of like the thing that I keep hearing every time someone says, "Well, I'm not for defunding the police." Somebody has to pop up and say, "Well, hold on, that's not what it means." Then stop saying it. Say it in a different way. Demilitarization.
It's funny because they'll say that's not what it means, but when there's representatives like AOC,
that is what it means. Then to them, yeah.
Like what? So what? New York City cuts the budget by $1 billion, or right? $1 billion.
Well, 1 million.
1 million.
Was it billion?
I don't know. Sorry, probably 1 million. 1 billion's way too high. 1 million. And she starts saying that's not enough. That's not enough. They need to do more. They need to do more. It's like, are you serious? Are you serious? Because she was like,
What'd you say that was? New York?
Yeah, it was New York. We got to bring it down to zero.
That's crazy.
Wasn't California talking about taking like cutting the military or not? It's like cutting their first responders.
Yeah, LA.
Like budget and give it to like was it immigrants in America?
I think I read something about that. I think it's like in L.A. They're talking about doing something like that. I know
Oh, you
Seattle.
were right. It was a billion.
It was a
Hold
billion.
on. Yeah, Katie Honan, Bill de Blasio and the New York City Council on Tuesday approved an $88.19 billion budget for the coming fiscal year that drastically cuts city spending while shifting nearly $1 billion in funding for the New York Police Department to youth and social services.
I mean, they have a lot of crime there in New York. I mean, especially now.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a lot of money. But that's that cut was not enough. And here's the thing: if you want to retrain the police, it's going to cost money. If you want to retrain them, it's going to cost money.
That's what I said. If you want to have better psych evaluations, you want to, retrain these men, or men and women, etc. That costs money. We actually need to put more money into the police versus taking money away. That's just my opinion, but it's not to give them more weapons and more control and shit like that. It's to say, hey, get your ass back in the classroom. You don't do this type of stuff.
Like the military does. The military, in the army, you had like not only a boot camp, then every job you do, you got I was striking mechanic, so I had my 9 weeks, and I had another 12 weeks, so like total's like almost close to like a year. It's like a year and a half when I'm actually done with all my training. Do them that way, make them extend longer in that training period, not just
right.
Like maybe a month or two. No, make it longer. Make them like start off like what it means to be, but like let drill in their head what it means to be a police officer. Like Army, it's all about the Army core values. When from my first week there, they drill in your head, learn the Army values, learn what the Army stands for. So you should do the same thing, like drill in the police officer's head, learn what it means to be a police, what it means to be there for the community, what it means to be there. Like how to engage the community and be more a part of it.
Right.
So like do it that way, and you probably start seeing change if you drill more that way of what it means to be like. Because like on the back of your car it says protect and serve the community. Show them what it means to do that.
I agree.
Like as part of their training, make them go out in the communities. As part of their training, as part of their training routines, instead of staying at the academy, make them go out in the community, make them like help out volunteers, something like that. So it helps them get that in their mental mindset of, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right. And
I strongly agree with that, because a lot of times now you see cops just sit in their squad car in whatever neighborhood they're supposed to patrol, and it's not like it used to be 40, 50 years ago, where they got out and talked to people, met people, new families, etc.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big problem too. They don't interact they need to interact more in a positive way. They kind of like help get rid of that stigma, Of course, all the bad things that some officers do, that of course gets all the attention, and that's all what people really talk about. But
there is good and there's bad. Like in the military, you have good leaders, you have bad leaders. Yeah. You have good soldiers, you have bad soldiers. It all, like anywhere, you have good, you have bad. But you can't let the bad outweigh the good.
Right.
Because when we start making light to the bad grows and the negative connotation grows and keeps developing, and it never changes. When you start looking at the good, like, okay, you know what? This person's bad. Look at this good person. Promote people who are good. Demote people who are bad. That will make a change too. This person is not doing what they're supposed to do. Demote them.
That would make a big change. I'm sure.
It'll make them want to change. When you start demoting them, they'll be like, "What?" If they don't change, get them out. Mm-hmm. Like army. That's like you do something army that's go against army values or go against the rules. You're out. You disarm or discharge. You're out. Do that with the police department. If you do something that's not what the police like, is what you signed, what you swore to do, you're out. You're done.
That's it. Yes, should be that simple.
And yes, and make it like a bad. I don't mean bad way, but make it like a bad rep. Like when someone gets disarmed with discharge, make it a bad rep. Well, you did this. Well, this is your punishment for doing that. You this.
That's what I've seen other people too say. It's like, okay, well, you work a normal job, you get 3 or 4 strikes, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
They can fire you. So why is it not the same with police officers? It should be no different.
It really shouldn't be. And what you said before about the training thing, that's very important. From understand with the police training, they get their physical fitness test is like once, and that's it, and then they don't have to take another one until like I don't think they have to take another one. Do they have to? Because I seen some fat cops. I seen some very unfit cops.
I'm not sure, but here in California, believe it or not, I'm actually considering becoming a police officer. But here in California, you have to do, I think it's like 20 sit-ups in 2 minutes, 20 push-ups in 2 minutes, and then I think it's like 1.5 mile jog, run, whatever, in 20 minutes. So it's really not that strenuous.
Right, right. And then like the hands-on tactics. I don't know if police are really trained in that. Like when it comes to like hands-on maneuvers, like how to really there's certain holds they can use or certain methods they can use to just grapple people. Like even jujitsu. I heard this sounds crazy, but if police were taught jujitsu, maybe they wouldn't have to just go for the gun or the taser so much. Because you put someone in a hold, man, not a choke hold, but you do an arm bar, they're gonna be tapping out. You want this cuffs?
Officer Neo.
You want this cuffs now?
Or like I moved out like Ip-Man, how the guy who trained Bruce Lee, how you train this is not all about you're hitting, people. It's all about being defensive,
Yeah.
It's not about, okay, the wind child is not the movement. And for the movies concept of watching documentaries on it, wasn't that type of martial arts style is not about, okay, let me hit, it would cause as much damage as I can, as much. Let me protect myself, but also, if I have to use force, I have to, but I don't have to use this much force all the time. But also, like I remember one of my first aid class, when I was in college, and I went to, it was taught by a former Marine, and he broke it down this way. He said, we need to train not only to do first aid, like physical first aid, but do mentally first aid. That's what also needs training. The concept of mentally. How do you approach someone who's having a mental breakdown, who feel like whose brain is your night because you don't know what they're going through. Somebody with a disability, they need to learn how to approach them. That's like they need to have those in their training program, how to deal with situations. Like a person's doing this, how would you de-escalate this situation to make them feel calm and relaxed? And they're not trained how to do that. Most of them don't know how to engage.
Oh yeah, you're right. That like
now.
Negotiation tactics almost kind of deal, sort of in the same area, kind of.
Yeah. You want to de-escalate the situation. Force should not be the first thing on their mind. It should be, let me find out how I want to de-escalate, how I want to engage this person. Let me put myself in their shoes and see what they're going with.
That's right. That's true, man. I tell you what, man. As someone who worked at a psych facility for a number of years, where all I had were my hands, like we had no chemical restraints, no physical restraints. It was pretty much your words and your hands, and you're very limited on restraints. So that's like the last option you have. You learn to de-escalate real fast. You learn how to talk to people in a certain way, how to like kind of make it seem like you're agreeing with them, but not really agreeing. You just kind of talk to them. You talk to them, right? You kind of convince them. You get them to go along with something they don't want to do. They don't want to do this physical. They don't want to do this activity. Okay, you find what's their motivator. What's going on with this? Okay, talk to them for a little bit, and next thing you know, they start doing it. But in the police world, where it's like you're talking about arresting people and taking people behind bars, because the part that's going to be really hard is when people resist arrest, right? When people are like, no, you're not getting me this time. You're not getting me this time. I guess there's only so much talking you can do before it's like you got to actually put the cuffs on the person, and are they going to take it?
Yes.
And if they don't take the cuffs, what happens then?
Yes. And then you have some people like perpetrators who will like try to get aggressive. But you gotta let them know, like you want to. Okay, how hard this?
Well, do you want to make your charge in this instance even worse, or do you just want to take your night in jail and you know do what you got to do, work the system instead of rebelling against it?
Right. That's one thing you could say. That's one thing that might help.
Because I think this way, like also how you approach a person too. Don't approach them with your hand automatically on a gun, unless they're deemed to be a threat.
Right.
Or from a distance, have a calm, relaxive posture, and let them let them know that you feel like you seem friendly to them. Like, okay, I'm coming here. I'm not coming to you as a threat. I'm coming to you as a normal human being. Like here, we're both human. I'm coming to you as a person. And and I'm coming here because you had this. I'm here. You may have a warrant, something. I'm trying to, I'm here to arrest you. I'm not like, don't come in with your hand on your gun already. Like, okay, I'm like, that's the first thing you see somebody see the hand like as an officer, even at just a traffic stop. If you see someone, don't just come up to the car with your hand on your gun.
Right.
Like,
right.
okay, this person's gonna be a threat. No, they was a threat. Yes, you do live in America. A lot of people do have guns, but not everyone's going to like say, okay, I'm going to throw my gun out, shoot a cop today. No,
Right.
it's not someone's mind. Everyone's mind, like, okay, like when the first thing if I get pulled up, I'm like, what happened? What did I do? I mean, was I speeding? Was I going too slow? Was something out of my light? Or I mean, that's what comes to my mind. You got to think, what are they thinking? Because one day in your life when you're young, before you became an officer, you got pulled over, so you probably understand what's going on in their mind. Like, what did I do? Did I do something wrong?
That's right. I mean, of course, there's going to be the outliers that are like very defensive, and the name is escaping me of that particular group. Something Citizens. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. Where they think the law doesn't apply to them. Like this, like the Constitution is like it doesn't even really apply. Like I guess certain state laws don't apply. Whatever. I forgot what they call it. Anyway, they resist like crazy. They're a problem. In fact, I think in Florida, a police were retrained how to deal with them, and these guys are usually white, and they're very hostile. They will shoot. They will shoot on sight, and there's videos of that. But those are outliers. Those aren't everyday people. Like most people who get pulled over, just. What did I do wrong, officer?
It's not the norm. It's not not the average person that's going to do that stuff. I got something I want to ask you guys. This is pertaining to what we're talking about. And I saw this today. It says if painting over a BLM or Black Lives Matter sign is a hate crime, then defacing any statue, symbol, or the American flag must also be a hate crime. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's political speech, so if it's 1 for 1, it would have to be fair. I just wanted fair. But what do you think, Rice?
I think for me, like, I talk to like, when I see someone burn the American flag, it brings back, maybe it's like, I lost friends and who were killed overseas. And it's like, okay, I understand you feel some type of way, but it is like, it is a part of freedom of speech, but you have to, you may not like it, but it's still freedom of speech. We like most countries don't have that where you can speak out and voice your freedom of speech. Here in America, you be able to, you have something in government, you're able to protest and, form groups, voice your what's going on. In other countries, you do that, you can either be jailed or killed just by doing that.
You disappear in China and Russia.
so here it's like, you have that freedom to express how you feel. Some people don't like it, but it is their freedom.
Right. So similar way here. I mean, I don't like the sight of seeing the American flag burning. I understand it's freedom of speech. I get that freedom of expression. Fine. I also find it hilarious when people wave a communist flag and really want communism here. Do they not know how many lives, how many people were killed, especially innocent people were killed? Like genocide.
That's from Stalin. I mean, like you watch like documentary on Joseph Stalin, he wasn't. And like the family sounds like, people like, well, it don't seem that bad. The history is something like, well, you have people who families are born in Russian who are Russian telling them, what you think is not like it is, but I'm like, the new young generation is like, oh, it ain't that bad, it's better. And I'm like, no, if you listen like the stories from people that can watch documentaries from actual Russian family members who lived through that and take account what they're saying, listen,
Listen
don't
to them.
just take your time to like listen, let it absorb in your brain. That's like my first, like, be 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 quick to listen but slow to speak. That means listen to what they're saying, but before you speak out, let it sit, marinate, and then
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. So something I like that. If I watch a documentary or something like that about a topic and I was talking about, I will watch it, listen to it, and find like other videos about it. Hear other people's opinion.
Yeah.
I was thinking about what people say before I say, okay, let me talk about this topic. And let's say like people talk about communism, I'm like, well, the schools taught, no, schools taught, no. Listen to the accounts from actual people who lived through it, people whose grandmothers, grandfathers who
Mm-hmm.
lived through it. Listen to the stories they're saying.
Listen to the
Take account.
stories. Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
mean,
not what you think it is.
right. Right. I mean, if you don't have anyone to listen to, I mean, you can even read about it. It's right there. Like all the atrocities are right there. They're so easy to grasp. You could just even look at Wikipedia if you wanted to. You could find all the atrocities, but definitely listen to the stories of the people who actually lived through that experience. But yeah, freedom of expression. People waving that the communist flag or burning the flag. I don't like it, but it's I'm not gonna have them jailed for hate speech or whatever. The BLM thing, the Black Lives Matter thing, that seems like a topical thing just right now. It seems silly to charge him with a hate crime, or because it's like that's political speech right there, and that's the government saying that you can't violate this political speech, but you can violate others. I mean, or you could do like I don't understand.
I
It's
get what you're
selective.
saying. It would be kind of, yeah, it'd be kind of weird. You know, I mean,
I mean, maybe
that's
charge him with vandalism if you want to, but then it'd be like, I mean, if the
that
city's
would make more sense.
yeah, like if the city approved of the Black Lives Matter thing on the street, and it was vandalized, then did arrest him for vandalism. I guess.
I, I think one thing they should do, in my opinion, instead of like, they should have people destroying statues, throwing them into the rivers and stuff. I'm like, how are you going to educate the young generation you destroying history? Like, put it in a museum so they can
Hmm.
listen and understand, like they can learn and understand
Oh,
about it.
it's all in the history books, Mr. Rice. That's what everybody will tell you. We don't
Well,
need the
Yeah,
statues.
but
Just
the history,
destroy it.
sometimes it hit like as I studied history in college. Most of the time, yeah, we read a bit, but we didn't really look in the history book and like study it.
right.
Sometimes we just like we watch documentaries or we would um just like I said, she said, okay, to do your research on your own. We did a lot of our own research. And sometimes like history books don't also cover everything in depth. It's just an author's perspective with on it. Maybe it's like a few pages, but don't really go deep into it.
Hmm.
Right.
That's right. I mean, I remember back in the day, you get like the 600 page book, and you barely cover maybe like 30 pages of it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're just going over what the teacher tells you to go over, and then you turn in your homework assignment, and that's it. I mean, that is the bulk of it. I mean,
I wish
oh,
schools do like more of students. I want you to do research.
mhm.
Don't just let stuff. Don't just okay. I'm gonna teach you this skill. I'm gonna teach you this. Didn't even question. I want you to understand what I'm teaching you.
Yeah,
Take the time out. Like students, like we could read this. Let it grasp in your mind. You're gonna have some who don't read it. Those will be those who don't want to read, don't want to do it. But you have those who be like when they start reading, it may pique their interest. They want to know more. I think the schools should go back to that way. Let students be able to like study more research. One thing, like like in my opinion, Wikipedia, like a lot from Wikipedia can be changed and altered at any time.
yep,
But like that's what the libraries are there. Go to libraries. They have
definitely.
like a lot of people don't go to libraries anymore. It's like we have the internet access. Sometimes the internet don't have every book there is
That's true.
for you to
That's
read
true.
access. Go to a local library. Look like they have a whole bunch of like autobiography something, or even accounts. Go read. Go to the library. Take
Okay.
time out. Like get a library card. Sit there and read it.
All right. Now, what I think so. I think we're in agreement with the. I think we kind of voice our thoughts and opinions on this stuff, especially in defacing sessions. One thing I think I heard about this. I'm not sure if this is true, but are these protesters going to be targeting museums anytime soon? I mean, I've heard that they might try. They would be silly if they did.
Why? It's like if they do, it's like you don't care about history. History was help us learn not to repeat history. You know, if we get rid of history, then you're like erasing knowledge and stuff. It's like, okay, well, you know what? Like for example, was that like the Holocaust? Let's say, like people didn't know about the Holocaust and like that. It's like erase our history. No one knew about it. You know. Now, sudden another group of nations try to do the same thing. But like,
That's right.
the history is there. History is there to teach us from this mistake we made. Let's not make this mistake. Let's progress and do better.
Now I can imagine someone from
Nope.
I can imagine someone on the other side saying that, oh, but it's written by the white man. It's the white man's narrative. It's toxic or whatever. Burn it all down. We could start a new.
Well, like I said here recently, what happened in Russia at the fall of communism? Okay, they were tearing everything down, and then what happened? What were they given? The two-party system. Here's another system of control. Have at it. So in my mind, you want to burn all this stuff down. Oh, okay. So what's next? Where does it stop? Where's the conclusion to this, and who's going to be in power afterwards? Because that's the important thing. Versus, and like some of my friends think, let's see what Rice has to think about. Mr. Rice has to say about this being ex-military, but a lot of people have said that the silent majority has stayed silent for right now. They're letting these people tear each other up, and when it gets to a burgeoning point, then they'll reveal themselves. What do you think about that, Mr. Rice?
I think like technically, like, I was the type of person, like, I never voice my political opinion and all that. And I think it's get to a point where people who really don't, some people just stay quiet. Sometimes the best thing is silence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes it's get to a point where people who are silent are going to speak, and they want to be heard. They want people to, they're like, just stop. Just stop, take a breather, find a middle ground. Just stop. And listen to one another. It's not about screaming, yelling. It's like, it's not about yelling over each other. If two people are yelling at each other, no one's been hurt. If you actually stop and then sit down in front of a person, it's like we go on a first date with a girl or a guy. That depends on your preference. You still sit there and get to know them. That's what get to know them is about. Is you communicating. You take the time out to get to know who they are, what their views are, and everything. You just make random conversation. I think with the same thing about like every like religion, politics, and all that is both sides. People need to sit down and just listen to each other. Don't yell. Don't do none of that, because yelling don't solve nothing. If two people yell, no one's been hurt, and then it's like it ain't no chance. But if you listen and then find common ground, where y'all both see things that can change. To see things that y'all both don't agree on.
Right. I mean, I like that. That's a rational approach, being able to talk and actually start finding some middle ground. I think the worry is right now with the things escalating, in the streets and the protests and stuff. I guess people are kind of worried about the looming Tim Pool Civil War. I don't know if you guys know who Tim Pool is, but the Civil War thing that people keep on talking about, like, oh my God, could we go in there? Could we go in there? Civil War 2.0. I really hope not.
Well, the majority is in America is law-abiding citizens who want other people to be law-abiding citizens and get along, and that's the people I'm talking about that are being silent right now. This is a small portion of America that's doing this looting, and if really the silent majority stands up, the the real patriots, the ones sitting at their on their ranch with 300 different guns, they will wipe these people out, and it will be ugly and so fast it will be like the swift hand of God. That's just my opinion. Call me crazy, but
like
there's
how I say this though is like if let's say it does happen, the military's gonna step in like that and de-escalate. And it's gonna be so fast, like before like I'm saying, so before it kicks off, the military gonna be called to action like that, like a quicker snap of the finger. It's gonna be called in and martial law will take place. Nobody wants that. So
Sure.
do you think anything like that's gonna happen? No, because if you do that, you gonna break martial law, and with martial law, you lose your rights. So it's like, do you want to do that? Honestly,
right.
It's people
I
really.
get you.
People, I think. I think they want to test it. I think they want to see how far they can go before it gets there. And they've been wanting Trump. I don't know what you guys feel about him, but they've been wanting him to be the dictator. They've been wanting him to be the our Hitler. So I guess they really want to see if he's going to really use the military against U.S. citizens. I mean,
I think it's like if you look at I tell people like if you actually understand Trump like when he first ran for presidency, if you look at like some people might not, some people don't agree with us. Telling this like he was actually he actually was going to run as a Democrat first, but he knew he couldn't win because a lot of people run as Democrat, so he switched to Republican,
right?
And that's how he said get in office.
That's true.
So like he actually was start off. He's actually started off as a Democrat running for president, but
I
then
didn't realize that.
and he was advised to switch to Republican because the Republican Party didn't really have no one, so he's advised to switch to Republican, and that's how he got in the chair.
That is true. That is true. Man,
I don't think Trump's as bad as they make him out to be, and then the people that are in like full support, I don't think he's as good as they make him out to be either. So
yeah, I'm like there's good and bad in him. Like, he has done good things. For one example I gave, he has gave funding to black colleges. They help restore black colleges. Be fun. Another thing he does, he's finally tackled the issue of 22s. And the 22s number of military vets who kill themselves every day. Mm-hmm. It's like numbers every day. 22 American veterans kill themselves, and he's finally tackling a mental health issue that's been plaguing veterans in the military for years.
Okay,
and that's one thing I apply. But there's like I said, there's some things that he does I don't like. There's things he does I do like.
Right. I mean, he says things are kind of like, "Whoa, that's a hard take," but that's weird, Trump. Were you you don't drink apparently, but were you on the shitter when you made that tweet? What the fuck? He's like, God damn, dude. But then there's things like I've heard many things that he's done, good things for the black community. I've even heard some people say he's done more than Obama, which is like, oh wow, okay. But
no, he did.
They said that, and they proved examples. They've given examples. That raising money for black colleges, giving more funding for black colleges, with the prison reform. Shit. Oh, the lowest black unemployment in the U.S. history, apparently. I mean, it's good stuff. That's good stuff. But so he's not the villain, but they want him to be the villain. They want him to be the biggest villain we've ever had. So I think they really want to push Trump to use military on the U.S. Citizens so they can spin it and be like, now he's the dictator. But I think by the time they do that, it'd be like too late because it'd be like, the silent majority.
He'll already be elected. He'll already be into his second term if that happens.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
No, well, don't. If I'm correct, I may be wrong on this. If martial law is called, there won't technically say. Let's say something happens, martial law is called before the election. Won't the election be held off until stuff get de-escalated?
I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
It's like it suspends your constitutional rights and all. That's all that is taken away until the issue is resolved.
And you know what they're going to spin that with. You know what CNN's going to run. You know what they're going to say. Trump suspends the election. He's a dictator. He is a dictator. He must be impeached. It's going
to. This is how I see things. The news is like. I'm trying to think I'm going to say this. You can listen to the news
I do.
and
I do.
all
And
the
I
time,
give it up.
but also, like I like to talk to people who like live in other countries and like just get their view because the news sometimes don't cover and don't talk about everything about what a person actually experienced. It
Right.
only use like little snippets. Like news only covers certain topics they know that will trigger your brain or make you feel. Let's say like the news technically plays with you mentally. It knows what will make you react. Oh, this happened. Wow, I can't believe that happened. Or this is going on. It makes you have some type of way. It makes you feel a type of way. Makes
I,
you think a certain way. It's like
I gotta.
technically it's trying to make you. It's technically trying to just make you feel like you can't think your own way. It's like, well, this is going on. This is going to do. So because that's going on, do well. Here you go.
That's
It
right.
looks like what I found. It says the Supreme Court ruled that Congress may suspend the privilege uh, if it deems it necessary. That's elections during war. It says during the American Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln suspended the privilege, but owing to the vehement opposition he faced, obtained congressional authorization for the same. So looks like it's totally doable.
Yeah, Dick. I remember doing. I remember he stopped. Technically, he was looking at some Rhode Island was actually supposed to be part of the South, but he technically took away the congressional rights and all that, so they couldn't
It
have
makes
nothing.
sense. Rhode Island's pretty racist. I mean, that's where H.P. Lovecraft was born. I mean, we. Sorry, I gotta throw it on.
Lovecraft was racist.
I gotta throw in a horror reference there. This is a horror podcast. There we go. There's a horror writer there. Sorry.
There's one horror reference for the whole hour. You're welcome. Tune in next week.
Yeah. Um, no, but yeah, Rhode Island's pretty racist, but yeah, it's doable. And what'd you say about the news, man? Like anymore, I said this with my neighbors because in my neighborhood, we actually, you're not gonna believe this, we actually talk to each other. It's like King of the Hill. It's like we're all like in our chairs or standing around drinking beer, bullshitting, talking while watching the kids like run around. It's good stuff. But we're talking about how like they're not even journalists anymore. They're not even doing any journalism. They're just flat out just giving their opinion. Just they're doing the same thing that YouTube commentators do. Doing the same exact fucking thing except with a particular narrative. They all talk like the
I
same narrative.
liked some of the things that Don Lemon said until he fucked with my Terry Crews.
Right?
It was bullshit.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah. So actually, let me ask you because I did before we got to the end of the show. I wanted to ask you, Rice, about Black Lives Matter. Like, are you worried that Black Lives Matter is going to become Black Lives Better?
And can he go more in depth with that question?
Well, Terry Crews sounds like he was worried that Black Lives Matter was going to morph into Black Lives Better, being like it is. I guess the focus on that to raise, I guess, the black race over all other races, being I guess superior. You can kind of see
Basically going from where we're making sure that everyone has equal rights, Mr. Rice, to then, the complete polar opposite where it's like, okay, now black Americans have extra rights. You see that happening?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they trying to go that way, but I don't think it's actually going to go that way, that route. It's like, because I understand what they want, but it's like you taking it too far.
Mhm.
You like, okay, yes, you want rights. Yes, we don't say. I understand, we blacks been wrong and all that stuff, but we have come a long way. I can still get an education. Think about our ancestors. They had segregated schools. It was hard for them to get a true education and get true jobs, get jobs and stuff. Where in America, right now, it's like we have more of an opportunity where yes, you may still face it, but me, like, yeah, have I faced racism? Yes, I have. But do I let it put me down for being successful in life? No.
Absolutely
Yes,
not.
still gonna face it. It's still gonna face it. It's just but we have more. Then you have more liberty and freedom to now to you go to school, you study anything you want, you major anything, your job in any type of job, That's legal. You know, anytime about stuff is legal. So, but it's like,
You want me to
yeah,
read
like,
what was said? What he
What Terry Crews said?
posted?
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I've got. Hold on, just give me a second here. I gotta pull it up. I completely agreed with him though. You know, I'm standing there clapping hands. Like, you know, it's one of the best things a celebrity has come out and said in opposition to this stuff, and it's like, okay, well, you know, this is what people need to be saying, and standing up and not taking a back seat to this just because they don't want to hurt their bottom line. Hold on, I'm trying to find it here. Okay, so he said, if you are a child of God, you are my brother and sister. I have family of every race, creed, and ideology. We must ensure that Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better.
Amen to that. I mean, I like that tweet. I like that. I mean, I
I can't find any problem with what he said. I mean, I've looked at this multiple times, and all he's saying is, hey, let's not, like I just said, let's not go from ensuring equal rights to extra rights. What's so bad about that? You know, if there's white privilege, which I don't believe in to begin with, but you know, should we institute black privilege? Well, that doesn't make any sense.
well we
I'm like,
well
if America was created that all men are equal, we need to focus on less than equal. You know, don't make someone another race feel less than another person. Let's come together as one. It's time for
right.
us to unite as people. No more of okay, you know, this person's just because of this way or because of that way. No, let's stop it. Let's come as one. We are American people. Let's take pride in what we say for it. We are when we say we're Americans, we are true Americans. So let's be prideful with that.
Right.
I like that.
I
And
agree.
that's one reason why I want to do that fuck yeah, America fuck yeah book. I want to help. I want to do my part to bring in up. No, I guess like pride back in America, man. People just hate on it so much. I get it. We have problems, and we're talking about one of the main problems we have here: race relations is coming back up again. You know, and it's like it shouldn't be that way. Like I've had this, of course. I you
Well,
heard about you
it's
heard about
not with most of America though. It's really what the media is propagating. Sorry to
right?
interrupt you, but
No, you're
I'll
right
throw
though. You're
that
right,
out there.
and they're propagating that because the one thing they're using is a stupid white fragility book. Have y'all seen that book? Where like white people are
Mm-mm.
always racist when they say they're not racist or even showing that they're there's no way to not be racist,
I don't understand that. Okay, and you know, I'm Native American and German. You know, I'm a white American.
dude.
How dare you? How dare you tell me that me defending myself is me being racist? Like by saying I'm not racist? Shut the hell up. That doesn't even make sense. Of course there's those people out there, right?
Right.
Guys, that you know, they're going to say that and they truly are racist, but that's not everybody. That's not the majority of decent, you know, hardworking family Americans that you know they just want to live their lives and get along with everybody and you know more power to them.
Man, I gotta tell you, all my jobs I've had as of since I think 2006, I've pretty much been like the token white guy, and I've gone along with everybody. Um, you know, when I worked at a psych facility, one thing they would tell me about is I don't have enough muscle. Be like, okay, well, I'm working, I'm working out, but it's a different thing. I don't know, but of course, they're just busting my balls. You know, it's good stuff. It's fun, but then and now as a social worker, I'm like the only male and only white male, so it's like, and I get along just fine with everybody. You know, I have no problem. I've no hangups. Just
I think
talking and socializing with like my supervisor and coworkers about life issues, cultural issues, and it's surprising how well we get along. I mean, I gotta tell you, man. We start talking about food. We talk about our kids. We're talking about our family problems. Talk about stuff. It's like, you know, not one time did we get hung up on like race. Not one time does that happen. It's like, but the white fragility book makes it seem like, oh, it's a big problem for white people to mix with black people. I swear that book is crazy. That book, the author in that book, I think Robin DiAngelo, is that her name? Like one of the examples she gives is that she had a hard time choosing to sit with black people, and that's when she realized she has internal racism, and she claimed that all white people have that. So it's like this reminds me
No,
of
lady, that's just you.
right.
And anybody like
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Because like for me, because like I grew up, like I went to schools in all white, majority white schools and all that stuff, and majority of my friends were white. It wasn't like okay, I had a hard time making friends with them. No, I got along with them really good. Just for me being my person, I said I hung out with everyone from the most popular to the least popular person. Like I made, I had friends who were like white, no matter what race. So I had different races, backgrounds, and all that. I had a lot of friends. So it's like, you can't say, well, as a white person, it's hard, just say, oh, as a white person, it's hard to make friends with black people. No, no, it's not
Let,
hard. If you
let
just
me ask
open
you.
and confront them.
Let me ask you, Mr. Rice, and if this is too personal a question, just tell me, fuck off, Whitey. I don't care. Tell me just to shut up. But
Fuck off, Whitey. I don't care. I just want to
yeah,
say.
yeah, fuck off, Whitey. Whatever. You don't count. You're the host. But did you ever encounter any instances at all in your upbringing, say your aunt, uncle, parents, or anybody that pulled you aside during your childhood? Was like, okay, we need to discuss white people, and so you're cautious. And did that ever happen to you?
That's my call. No, that never happened to me.
Okay,
So
just curious.
they didn't give you the lecture about the white devil? I know some white devils though. I do know some white devils.
Nope, didn't get that either. Like
Okay.
I got cautious. You can't stop running away from me. I can't see you at or
And what happened, Mr. Rice? You did not grow up to be racially prejudiced. Oh my God, it's a miracle. I'm being rhetorical, obviously, but yeah,
No.
that struck a chord when I saw that stupid thing on Tucker Carlson, him talking to that black professor, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I raised my kids this way." It's like, are you fucking crazy?
That is absurd. One thing I definitely want to ask you, Rice, if you could change how Black Lives Matter is done and how the movement's pushed and what's being pushed, what would it be and why?
I think for me, if I change, like if I can be on stage this time, I'll say it's time for us. Like I said earlier, it's time for us to unite. Stop worrying about defunding the police. Yes, let's do that. But right now, let's focus on our communities. 'Cause, let's end the crimes in our like just like what's like like black more like the black populated community. Let's make a change to those communities. Like as people say, like the ghetto or just I don't say I feel that's more of a low income because yeah. I mean, I come up, my family struggle. There's times where I was homeless in my life. So I understand, but it's time where we look at the black community and say, let's make a change there. Let's get the negative things that are holding us back out. Pluck pluck the bad seeds out. Like where did the drug house at? Let's get the drug dealer out and let's destroy the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like this like get that house gone. Like anything like anything that's like negative to me, like abandoned buildings and stuff. That's what I think they should do. Not like in the black community, but anywhere. Buildings that are abandoned, get rid of it. Or beautification, like make something beautiful out of it. I believe if you put like a beautiful, in a place that's full of darkness, you plant a little light in it, it can grow and make a change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you
That's
take
right.
that known drug house that gets raided all the time out, right? Instead of keep letting it be there, so y'all don't keep busting and be like, oh yeah, you know what? We bust this many drugs. No, instead of worrying about that, remove the negative things in the community. Remove the if it's alcoholism is destroying that part of the black community, remove all liquor stores. If drugs is destroying that community, follow to get rid of gang violence. Set up community watch. Set up people who know hire security in your own community if you want to, or come together as one. Say, you know what? Let's have patrols where we watch what certain activities or monitor what our kids do, who they hang out with, where they go. So just don't get mixed up in the wrong crowd. That's what I say. Let's say it's time for the Black community to truly unite. It's time to get rid of negative things that are going to keep plaguing us for years. Until we remove it and clear that scab off, it's going to still be there. It's going to be almost like a thorn in our flesh.
Man,
Until we move
that's
and
beautiful.
let healing happen, it's still going to be there.
That is beautiful, man. That is powerful. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about. I said this with the last guest. Talk about this issue. It's like, yeah, we could have conversations about what we could do with the community to empower it, to enrich it. We can come up with ideas that can help it. Clearly, what's not helping is getting rid of the police completely. We see what's happening with the lawlessness. Even without defunding and abolishing, police are pretty much told to have a lighter touch, don't do anything. And you see, like, a rise in shootings, and it's
AOC's talking about it. The Democrats, excuse me, getting the White House, then they want to abolish all bail. Now, you tell me how that's going to help somebody. Some motherfucker goes out there and kills a kid, and then he's out in the street the next day, killing again, or getting killed, or causing more issues. That makes no sense to me. I can understand, like we said earlier, Deadman, police reform and stuff, but that's what people need to start doing is sitting down, having conversations like this, find common sense solutions, find common ground. Any race, any color, no matter what you are, we're all human. We have more in common than we have in our indifference. So,
yeah. I'm thinking about that Bell thing. Imagine this. Imagine being like a wife or even us. Okay, let's say we had a wife that was beating on us or whatever. Domestic violence situation, right? And let's say our abuser's beating up on us, and they get arrested, right? And they're booked, but then they're out. They're out because they cash bail. They're back out, and they're back in the home, beating you up again. It's crazy. I get that the holding is supposed to be held so they can see the judge and do their time. And usually what happens is they end up sitting there a lot. I mean, it takes a while to see the judge.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, Rice, what you said, I think is pretty powerful. Man, it's...
And thank you again so much, Mr. Rice, for being on, man. We really love having you, dude.
You're welcome. The last time I was I was busy to try to get stuff situated with Ruben.
Yeah.
So it happens.
One last question I have for you, though, since it sounds like we're wrapping up here. This is a horror podcast. I don't know if you like horror movies, but I mean, do you have a favorite one?
Okay, like I love horror movies, but my horror movie session is like weird. It's like, okay, like I like a horror movie that makes me like for example, like Blair Witch Project or the Ghost Encounters type of horror movie. It's like if I'm looking through a camera lens, it makes me feel like I'm part of the movie. I'm not a movie. They'll give me the true scare. I love a good thriller, like for example, like Shutter Island. What's a good thriller? Yeah, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
that's still my number one favorite thriller. It's like it played with me. Boom. Number two now favorite is Knives Out. I love that movie. That twist was like perfect.
Wait, what was it?
Knives Out.
Knives Out.
Oh,
man,
okay. I still haven't watched that.
I haven't finished it. I watched it about halfway, and it's one of those movies where I made a promise with my wife. I don't know if you guys are married, but when you're married, you pretty much kind of watch the same stuff. And if you watch it behind her back, it's like, oh my God, I'm cheating on you. It's that, maybe it's a basic thing, but it's like, you really got to see this movie. She's like, did you watch it all the way? Only halfway. I don't know what the twist is, but man, that movie is awesome so far, and I gotta finish it. I might finish it tonight.
I've been stuck on Curon lately. This Netflix original foreign series that's like horror. It's really interesting. It's really like had me stuck to the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I'm stuck between I grew up. I love The Office. It's on my favorite show, but I've been watching the Unsolved Mysteries on
Oh yeah.
Netflix. That new season.
Oh
I'm
yeah, I
like,
saw that. The new season. That's cool.
yeah, yeah. I read the first episode. I was like, I'm like, they ain't looking to that friend. That friend has something to do with it,
Hmm.
because I'm like, come on now, like you his friend, and all of a sudden this happened. Nah, you and him got tangled with something, but you got him tangled in deep, and it
Hmm.
caused him to be killed. So I'm like, if they want to question someone, but this podcast, like, if we also listen to me who know that thing, question that friend again. That friend knows more than what they tell him. Yeah, he does. That friend knows. You can see it all. He that person knows more than what they're putting out.
Oh, it's usually like that, man. You know, it's gonna be that friend. God dang. Okay. But yeah, Mr. Rice, thank you so much for coming on the show and talk about racism in America and Black Lives Matter. We did get a little bit about. I love what you said about what you would do to change it and how you'd want the movement to be. It's very beautiful. I mean, and I say this too, and I know some people might be like, "Who cares, cracker? You're just a white guy." But look. I do care about Black lives, and I care about what's happening in the Black community. I have very little control over it. I have like zero control over it. And when
Well,
I
that's the difference. I know you're about to close out, but let me say this real fast.
Sure.
That's the difference between, like, who's that white guy that's at the helm of trying to do stuff? Sean King, for Black Lives Matter. Dude, what are you doing?
He wants to cancel
This is not
Jesus.
your.
He wants to
This is
cancel
not your
Jesus.
your
He,
your thing.
Yeah,
So I think people like you or I, Deadman, are more allies than the people that are actually trying to necessarily make moves because we say, hey, we stand by you. But we need you to do what you need to do for your community. We can't do it for you. To get people off the streets and those kind of things with the families. And the most that we can do is stand by and say, hey, like, we're here for you. We'll do whatever you ask us to help, but we're not going to try and be at the helm and be in control of that. And that's where it kind of goes awry, in my
yeah,
humble opinion.
yeah. Okay, like I want to say one more thing.
sure. I know we
Like,
talked about Sean Keen.
it's just like him, hey, when people, they say like you talking about the lot last night. Okay, this is I don't try to be negative, but I'm not going to be. I'm gonna word this. The people who says all lives matter, this is everyone knows everyone lives matter. When they say sometimes when you voice out a word, Black Lives Matter, it's not like when some black people say it's not in their context. Some people use things like word, but some black people saying that Black Lives Matter. It's a negative context. We're not trying to we're not trying to make it a negative context. Some people using a negative context for saying Black Lives, but then there's some saying when we're saying Black Lives Matter, we're trying to address. We say it to get the focuses of our people. Sometimes make other black people pay attention to what we're trying to say. It's not to make other races feel less than that. Like I say, like just because a small group is saying try to make that rate try to make like black lives as superior, don't mean majority of us are. When we
Oh
say
yeah,
that,
of course.
it's trying to get attention to the other black people. Let them know, hey, let's wake up, address issues in this area, this area. It's not to say your life is not deemed as higher as or as low as mine. It's none of that. It's
Right.
just to say, hey, other blacks, wake up, look at this, unless sit down and educate the young people, educate the young blacks.
Mhm.
Like I said, good time, like I have been, I was chewed out, I've been called like out of my name by the blacks and all that stuff because I'm like, hey, let's focus on we know don't. I'm like, just because I'm trying to explain what we need to do. I'm not being negative coming at you. I'm just saying let's get a community change.
Right.
I was like lock arms to say change our community, and,
Hmm.
and, and let's make that scale of injustice equal out, and make it justice on an equal playing field. And when we do there, then we can once that change happens, the society will see, like society will start seeing, it will start making society change little by little.
Hey, I like that.
Takes baby
I agree with
steps.
that.
Takes baby steps. Things don't happen overnight.
Oh, definitely not.
It takes time, but we gotta allow that progress. You can't take like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. No, we gotta take 2 steps forward, like a baby step, like a child learning how to walk.
Yep.
You know, eventually you gotta let go. When the child, you hold his hand for a little bit. Eventually you gotta let go, like riding a bike. You gotta let him go. And when that ball keeps rolling, that momentum goes growing, you can't stop. It's gonna be a wave of justice
I like that.
sweeping over this whole nation and causing change.
Man, I like that. What about you, Kybus?
Sounds good. That's what needs to happen. Got to make changes at home before we can make changes elsewhere. So,
That's right. All right, Mr. Rice, it's great having you on the show. I need to. You are welcome back anytime, pretty much. I mean, I need to bring you back on again. Maybe have more specific issues to get into. This is kind of a mixed bag. We kind of touched on things, didn't get really in deep. But I like what we did. I like what we talked about. So yeah, if there's any topical issues you want to talk about, just give us a message, man, and we'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this, press the like button, share, and subscribe. If you're listening to this on the podcast feed, leave a comment there. Leave a rating. It helps. Anyway, you guys, ladies, take it easy.